You will come back, my friends.
Now, let's analyze what's been working for us.
Dude, what are you saying?
Not a goddamn thing's been working for us.
You're amazing. You figured this all out already.
I'm a little better than everyone else here.
You know how to play winning hard-nosed football?
You lack a discipline.
Nuh-uh, don't rack a discipline.
It doesn't work for me.
You stay focused.
And that's the way you're gonna do it. You go out there, you tear their fucking heads off, and you shit down their necks. Let us pray.
Hello and welcome to Unfocused Steelers Sanctuary Fantasy Unfocused Football. Sorry, it's a mouthful. Now I realize why Dave doesn't want to come on and do this. All right, so
I love that Robert Loggia scene. That's awesome.
Yeah. Another week of fantasy football in the books. Some of us did pretty well. Some of us did better than the first week. Some of us not so good. So let's get right into it and talk about what happened last week. Welcome to everybody, John, David, Jeff, Greg. So looking back at last week, I'm bringing it up here real quick. Hold on. There we go. So Iron City Brewery, we triumphed over Dave's team. Dave hates ESPN. I'm pretty sure Dave hates fantasy football at this point. Jeff with a monster comeback, beating up Relic. He beat him so bad he left the chat group. John, huge rebound, worst in the league the first week. Nice little 2-point victory there. And then the standard, I believe that's you, isn't it, David?
Correct.
Yes. And want Trent so bad he decided he wanted to run late. And then Greg with a close victory, low scoring, just like the Steelers.
Yep.
But he moves to 2-0. So
that was Trent that lost that last one. It was
I beat
Colin
Trent.
I beat.
Oh, okay. Beat Trent. You beat Colin. That's right. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So going into week 3, there's 2-0 teams. Myself and Greg, and Dave, and playing Saquon, who has yet to make an appearance. Don't have any wins. Any thoughts from this week from you guys?
Just
I know my game came right down to the last 20 seconds. It was a close game. I had Mike Evans and the kicker, Tampa Bay's kicker going, and Mike Evans gave me the lead. I was up by 0.8, and then McLaughlin missed the field goal, gave me -1 point. So now I'm down by like 0.2. And Tampa gets the ball back for the final drive, and I'm like, come on, Evans just needs one catch. You know, I knew they weren't going to kick a field goal because they were down by more than 3. So I'm like, I need Evans with a catch. Baker drives him down the field. He's running. He's doing his thing. And then, still no Evans. Clock's ticking. It's under a minute. Finally hits Evans at like the 10-yard line for a 10-yard gain. Gave me a couple points and put me over the threshold over playing Saquon. I think you have Peyton Saquon. I don't think that's the name, but
yeah, I think it is playing Saquon.
Yeah.
Typos happen when you do these.
So it was a close game. It came right down. I'm in a free league, sweating out the last minute of fantasy football game.
Greg, what about you? You had a close one.
Yeah, it didn't help that Joe Burrow now has the working number of toes Joe Burrow has matches his number 9. So because of that, I had to sweat out 20. I had to rally from 25 points down Sunday in the Monday night games, which I had Ekbuka, Bowers, and McConkey playing, which I thought my chances were really good, but no, they didn't score a lot, and it had to sweat it out victory because I don't know how much the knee injury affected Bowers, and I think McConkey. I think he had a injury, small injury, but yeah, just like I said, just whenever I win, it's usually because I have to, clinch it at the last minute. It's a close game. So.
Well, the good news is you're playing like the Steelers. Hopefully, you don't end up like the Steelers at 7-6. We'll see what happens. And Jeff, you whomped Relic pretty good. What do you feel like was the key to your monumental victory here?
Yeah, Lamar and Malik is pretty much what carried me last week. Every other starter went under projection, so I think that's kind of how my team's going to hinge a lot this year. Is if I get good numbers out of Lamar and good numbers out of Malik, it's going to be hard to beat me. But if they don't have solid weeks, it's going to be a struggle.
I know how you feel. And the biggest key for me was that Dave apparently doesn't know much about fantasy football, so it worked out I was playing him. Looking ahead at the top 5 point scorers in the league, David, even though he's 1-1, is actually the top scorer in the league. I'm following close behind at 2-0. Colin, also 1-1, but definitely putting a solid effort out there. I feel bad saying Dave didn't know anything about bad luck.
Quinn, you're breaking up. We're having a hard time hearing you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. I had to move the mic closer. Yeah, and then Jeff slides into the top 5 just ahead of John, but pretty stout effort across the board here. I know
bummer for Dave Hates ESPN, 0-2 in the number 4 score in the league.
Yeah, that's some bad luck right there.
Do you notice how Quinn's mic went out right after he was talked about Iron Brewer Cittery? You couldn't hear him.
The number 2 league. So we got a question right off the bat, by the way. Go ahead, David.
Oh, I was going to say, like, with me and Colin's match, because I didn't get a chance to talk about that, was he had a lot of bad luck, man. Like, he had Josh Allen only got him 11 points. Aaron Jones got hurt, only got him 2 points. Didn't Brian Thomas Jr. get hurt because he only got him 8 points?
No, but he can't
get hurt, but it was a train wreck.
And then Broncos defense got him -5 points. So I kind of feel bad for Colin. I had a couple guys go over projection, but I'll take it. And I have the most points in the league, so I'm feeling pretty good at 1-1, to be honest with you.
Awesome. So we got our first question right off the bat here. Do we play Jaden Daniels? I don't know if everybody caught it, but Jaden Daniels is now questionable. Schefter's tweeting out that they are really questioning whether he's going to play or not. So
I think they're going to sit him. I mean, it'd be kind of crazy to play him week 3 if he's got any type of injury. But if they do play him, then I would say you probably need to start him. But it depends on who your backup quarterback is. I mean, if you have somebody decent, you might be in good
Marcus
shape.
Mariota.
Yeah, I'd probably.
If Daniels plays, you play Daniels for sure. What I heard and read was that they aren't going to play him if he can't do what he would normally be able to do, meaning slow down, speed up, cut, all that type of stuff. Because if he can run and do what he can do, then he's going to play. So if they play him, he's going to play. The good thing is it's not a Monday night game where you have to kind of make your decision ahead of time. They'll let you know Sunday early. It's an early game, I believe. So,
Sid, we're gonna table this one for you, buddy, because somebody is gonna talk specifically about the Indianapolis Colts quarterback situation in a little while. Jaden Daniels he's on my team. He's on several of my teams. When I did draft a quarterback early, I did take him. The matchup is against Vegas is an awesome matchup, and I totally agree with John here. If he can go, you got to put him on the field. If you can't, now's the time to start scouring the waiver wire and take a look. Sneaky good matchups. Aaron Rodgers against the Patriots, Drake May against the Steelers. If they're out there, those are guys I'd be looking at. David, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm looking at it here, and I mean, if he's going to play, I play him. Especially if you don't have a good backup quarterback, I'd play him. I mean, Las Vegas is middle of the pack in points allowed to QBs. He just put up 25 points for you against Green Bay. So, like, if he's going to play, I would play him. That's just me, though. But like
I
a lot of people don't
back-
get really good
good.
backup quarterbacks. They wait too long in the
Well, if
draft.
you're going
and
to
the backup
invest
isn't-
that heavily early on in a quarterback, then you probably are either not taking a second or you're getting bottom of the barrel because you're going to wait. You know,
that you just made my point for me. Thank you.
Right.
I would if he's going to play him.
Greg, what do you think?
I agree. I mean, if he can go, you go. Unless you have somebody a good backup, which, as they said, chances are you don't. And the rate, like Jaden, if Jaden put up 25 points against a really good Packers defense, then if he can get on that field, he should do much better against the Raiders.
Yeah, I totally agree. So, let's get into kind of our start sits of the week, and being that Sid is chomping at the bit, Jeff, why don't we go first with yours? Since who's your start of the week? Who's your sit of the week?
Yeah, so I would be starting Daniel Jones, especially if you're in that scenario that we just talked about with Jaden Daniels. I'd absolutely be all over Jones. I think Jones is kind of turning into the poor man's Hurst, where they don't have the tush push, but he's likely to score a touchdown running in most games, even if he's not really killing it passing. I think Taylor's going to have a huge rushing game this week. Tennessee's their rushing defense is terrible. And I think that's going to open up a lot of stuff for him to kind of spread it out. He's got a ton of weapons. I mean, his wide receivers are good. You've got Warren, you got Taylor coming out of the back. So I would start Daniel Jones.
Which, by the way, game note: Tyler Warren is questionable right now. They're not saying either way, but that's a guy I've predicted he's going to be the number one fantasy tight end. So,
did you hear Daniel Jones' new nickname?
I love his nickname.
No.
Indiana Jones.
Okay.
So Sid, buddy, I hate to disappoint you. If you're looking for Anthony Richardson playing time this week, probably not going to happen.
Because it's
Yes.
Indiana Jones is taking over.
Keep holding out hope, though.
It really gives you a good idea how bad Richardson really is with the weapons that are around that quarterback. To not be able to do anything at all with that offense is, I mean, it's a really good offense. I think it's a very
Well, they got a
underrated
good
offense.
offensive line, so that kind of helps.
Right. The wide receivers is really not a number one, but like with Warren, if he's healthy, that kind of crosses that out. And then you got a great running back in the back. Like John said, you got a good offensive line. I mean, it seems like that's just a quarterback's dream right there. So, yeah.
Guys, Daniel Jones is fourth in points for quarterbacks in fantasy football right now. The only ones beating him is Herbert, Goff, and Jackson. That's pretty good.
Isn't it? I mean, it's amazing how, I mean, we kind of poo-poo a little bit sometimes. We don't necessarily on our podcast, but I think people really overlook just how good of an offensive coach that Shane Steichen is. And if you give him remotely competent and pair him up with that, hey, let's face it, Daniel Jones, not the greatest reputation, but Steichen is really using him in ways, and he has weapons and a line that he didn't have with the Giants. For the Giants, it was Saquon left, Saquon right, and good God, who am I throwing the ball to? Whereas now, he's got a ton of weapons. I mean, I'm really impressed by how well he's doing.
Look, just to piggyback, Daniel Jones put up 27 points against Denver, who's 31st in points to quarterbacks, and he still put up 27. So facing Tennessee, who's technically garbage, but they're 29th in points to quarterbacks, I don't worry about it necessarily.
Yeah. The only thing I'm interested to see what happens is if anything happens to Jonathan Taylor, what happens to that offense?
Yeah, I mean, same with the 49ers and any other team that kind of relies on that running back, right? What would happen? But again, as John alluded to, they have such a good offensive line. I think nowadays with the running backs that all these backup running backs ended up having 1,200, 1,300 yard years when the starter goes out. Probably kind of one of those scenarios.
So, Jeff, tell us about your sit.
Yeah, man. Like, this is killing me. I have him in so many leagues. I really thought he was going to be top 10 easily, maybe pushing top 5 tight ends. I really believed in it. But the first 2 games have just been brutal. And you hate to pull the Band-Aid so quickly over 2 games, but no targets. Just doesn't look like he's really getting involved with it. The Denver offense is iffy at best right now. I know that Cortland Sutton's another one that you go, geez, what's going on? And Troy Franklin has more attempts to him than Sutton does. And I gotta sit him, man. There's better players out there that even Strange for Jacksonville. At least you're going to get 3 or 4 catches and 60, 70 yards. With Evan, who knows? He got 2 targets last week, 1 target. So
I'm looking at it right now, bro. 2 targets and 4 the week before that. Only his high right now is 21 yards receiving, and right off the rip, he's already injured again.
Yeah,
like he's so hard to trust.
And it was just like preseason, you looked at that offense and the way it was set up and him coming in there. It just seemed like that was going to be a great match for him. But through 2 weeks, it doesn't look like it's going to be.
There's this guy in Denver. He's playing quarterback. He's the root of all fantasy evil in Denver. I expected a regression from Bo Nix. We're definitely getting it. That being said, if you're looking to get rid of him, hang on, bench him. I totally agree. Hang on to him. Hang on to RJ Harvey. Second half of the year, I think we're going to see a heavy, heavy, heavy dose. Probably take Sean Payton 6 or 7 games to realize that not getting great wide receiver weapons for Nix was a huge mistake. So
didn't Ingram have a reputation of drops? I know that was an issue with him in New York.
When he was in Jacksonville, he still had the drops a little bit, but they were just thrown to him so much. He was still, you could overcome that. He'd have 10 balls thrown to him every game minimum. And when he was healthy that 1 year, I mean, it was good. And you kind of just figured, he didn't really play a lot last year. He coming off of that, maybe have a strong year health wise. But like you said, Quinn, first week injured, second week two balls thrown to him. So it's looking rough.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. I'm torn here because these guys have the same guy. So I'm going to let Greg go first with his start. Greg, who you got as your start of the week here?
Rome Odunze. He has more targets going his way than DJ Moore, both overall and in the red zone. And they've got a great matchup this week against Dallas because Dallas is giving up the most passing yards and the third most passing touchdowns. So,
gotcha. And John, you also have Rome Odunze as your start of the week.
Yep, I like him. I have him in a few leagues. I think that, based off of how he seems to be Caleb Williams' go-to guy so far, and I kind of expect to see that continue, really. I think DJ Moore's getting a little up there. Keenan Allen's out of there. The rookie that they got really has not been there. The receiver and tight end non-existent. Playing Dallas, who just gave up 450 yards passing, to Russell Wilson of all people, and a couple 100-yard games to the receivers there. So I think Odunze, he's number 4 receiver overall right now, and I think that he just kind of continues that this week against Dallas.
Nice.
Imagine if the Steelers had Russell Wilson. They'd be fucking badass, huh?
They'd be something, all right. We'd definitely be in the running for the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah,
you got the ass part right.
Yeah, exactly. Look, the one thing I'll say about Odunze, I kind of disagree with you guys on this one. The Dallas's defense is trash, but the cure to make any defense look good is the Chicago Bears offense. I'm sorry. We've said it before. If Trent was on, he'd be echoing it right now. Caleb Williams sucks. And until they put Tyson Bagent in, I would stay far away from any Bears. That's just me personally.
I mean, Caleb Williams is number 10 quarterback right now, so he's not, fantasy wise, he's not. I think he's only thrown one interception. He's got a rushing touchdown. He's got like 3 passing touchdowns. So, I have him. I picked him as my backup in a lot of leagues. I actually have Jaden Daniels in a couple leagues, and Caleb's the backup. So I'm like, man, maybe I don't even risk playing Jaden this week if he hurts his knee early. When I got Caleb against Dallas, I'm really considering playing Caleb. So,
Plus,
and their coach, he runs a hot offense. So,
to me, it's a slam dunk stardom. Like 4th in fantasy, like you said. Now it's against Detroit, who's 9th in points to wide receivers. Now it's against Dallas, who's got the 3rd most points to wide receivers. He could have another monster game. I'd start him. And projections. His projections have jumped 2 or 3, 4 points than they were last week to this week. They already moved it up. So the consensus is he's going to have a big game.
Nice. Okay, so Greg, you've got another Denver player as your sit-em. I'm sensing a theme as we go through the podcast here.
Yeah, R.J. Harvey. Right now, J.K. Dobbins is the top back there, and Tyler Batty is apparently the first choice when it comes to the third down situations. And the Chargers, they've given up the fewest yards allowed. So, I mean, I'm not saying that R.J. Harvey is going to be a total bust. I mean, like you said, it's going to take Peyton a while. It needs to take him a while to get him going. But for the time being, I just wouldn't have much, if any, faith in RJ. So,
yeah, the good part is
Dobbins, at least this week.
The good part is Dobbins' knees have a little sign on them say that they're only rated for 100 attempts a year. So,
but he's a beast when he plays, and that's really all that matters, Bob.
That's true.
But he's just not. They're just not. They don't really care to give Harvey the touches right now. He's only getting 5 or 6 per game. He's got like 1 target per game in the passing game. So like they're going up against a defense that's like 31st in points to running backs, I believe. I just saw something like that. So like it's just not a good matchup for him at all. I would put him on your bench and him sit there forever because he's just not going to get a lot of playing time unless Dobbins gets hurt, which could happen. I'll give you that, Bob. He gets injured quite a lot. So I would just stash him. Don't ever start him until Dobbins is actually hurt, though.
In other words, he's due.
It's 3 games in. His season's about over. All right, so switching over to David. This is a unique take here. You got a really interesting start.
Yeah, look, the Atlanta defense. They put up 22 points against the Vikings last week, which with McCarthy it's not hard, but still. And then now they're going to face a Panthers offense that's 3rd in points to defenses. And they lead the league in defensive points. They have the most fantasy points for defenses. So like this is a defense that out of nowhere is just really productive and will give you a lot of fantasy points. So I think it's a must start. Go grab that defense and start them right now.
Yeah, a lot of their rookies were flying around last week. I mean, they had the national game, so we got firsthand look at what they got. And they were certainly I think their first 2 picks in the draft were defensive ends. And they got 1 on each side, and they were flying around. They both had a sack, I think, in the first quarter. I think they have a cornerback or a safety that they picked that's kind of shining right now too. So
Xavier Watts.
Yeah. So it looks like they kind of hit on some of the defensive players. I know that they were working on building that up, and it's so far so good. And against Carolina, that's kind of struggled, except for garbage time where they put up the points.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird to think of it with the defense, but Carolina is basically. I mean, their defense is horrible, but their offense is doing their best to make their defense look good. I mean, my God. I mean, if you're not giving up on Bryce Young just yet, look, when he gets home from the school school day on his school bus with his apple juice box and his orange slices, it's time to cut bait. I don't know who the backup is in Carolina at this point, but it's got to be better. Actually, Bryce Young last year when they benched him and then he came back was okay.
I think it's
But,
Andy Dalton.
I thought Dalton moved on. Is he still there?
I think he's still there.
Yeah, I think he's.
Yeah, Carolina's absolute trash. Jeff, Greg, you guys got any thoughts on picking a defense as the start of the week here?
No, I mean, if it's going to get you that 6-7 extra points that you would have had before,
6-7.
So
It looks like
So
the trade
reason-
that they made for that other defensive line in the first, getting back in the first round, it's worked well so far.
Yeah.
So the reason why I decided to go with defense for this week is, and I know it's unique, but the reason why is because there are a lot of top 5-10 defenses in fantasy that have been really disappointing. Kansas City, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Buffalo. Those 4 in the bottom 5 in the league in points, guys.
Denver last week. It's terrible.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of teams out there where they took like one defense and they thought, hey, I'm good to go, and now you're like, shit. Maybe not, like Pittsburgh. It's like these guys are god awful. Like, and now you're like, what do? Do I just give them another shot and risk not getting anything, or do I go get another defense? And to me, I mean, to put up 22 points like I did last week, to automatically take the lead in fantasy points for defenses against a soft opponent.
What's their projection? What's their projection for this week?
Their projection
in our league is 7.
In our league. How much?
7.
In Yahoo, it's 10.41.
Right. So that's
a lot for
good
defenses.
question, because this is part of fantasy football, is knowing your league rules, right? Some leagues defenses score even more points. So maybe in this one it defaulted to ESPN settings and they don't give tons, but I know there's a couple leagues that we play in. I think, Quinn, your league, defenses score a lot of points. My league, Jeff, they start at 25 and kind of work your way down, so it's not a terrible, it is a little unconventional to say Falcons are a start, but if you know your league rules and defenses get a lot of points for, sacks, fumbles, turnovers, holding opponents to lower points, yards, all of those factor in, then it's
someone in our league already added them.
Well, I was looking at our league's waiver wire and I noticed that, and I was curious if it was you with your sit of the week here. Are you the one who just dropped him outright?
No, I did.
Oh, Mark Andrews. Yeah. So Dave, tell us what's going on here with Mark Andrews.
Dude, look, so he's gotten 1 point each game so far. He's facing Denver, who's 25th or 26th in points to tight ends. Likely might be coming back. I don't know what's going on, but he's not getting the targets. So I'm sitting him. Just to throw a name out there, if Juwan Johnson is still available in your league, go get him, because I'm in 5 fucking leagues. I've noticed that at least 2, Juwan Johnson was still out there to be added. I automatically added him in my one league and started him over Andrews. Like I don't got time to just keep watching you put up 1 point per week. I'm sorry. So I added Juwan Johnson. I benched Mark Andrews. He's what, a top 6 tight end in the draft, and he's putting up 1 point per week. So I'm pissed.
I totally get what you're saying. I thought Isaiah Likely was the number 1 and then he got hurt. And so Andrews, but look, there are times in a player's career where something happens and then you just go down from there. I think that drop is going to haunt him. I think he was already kind of on the way down last year. Okay. I just don't see him rebounding from this at this point.
He wasn't even, it's not even a question of they're not even throwing to him. So it's not even a matter of him being able to rebound when he's not getting any footballs thrown to him.
And it's not like Lamar's not throwing. He's got 6 touchdown passes in 2 games. He's throwing he's doing Lamar things, and he doesn't need Andrews. My guess is that they look once Likely gets back, and they may even look to just move on from Andrews, trade him, or to me in a 10-man, there's enough potential out there with tight ends that he was droppable for me. I mean, I dropped him. So and I think Joku, I think's got more upside at this point than him. But yeah, I mean, tight end's a tough spot all the way around, to be honest. There's only a couple that are doing anything right now.
Yeah, you can't keep going along with this 1 point.
One catch for 7 yards.
I can't do that.
Hey, have faith. When they play the Steelers, he'll erupt for 20 points each game.
No, I just think Likely starts to come back this week, and it appeared that Lamar kind of likes Likely too, and I think maybe that dropped 2-point conversion there in the playoffs hurt a lot more than people think.
Yeah.
Lamar probably has lost trust in him and says, "You know what, buddy? I'm not even looking at it."
Likely is a more explosive player too. You can see
younger, probably
more athletic, right? Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna do mine real quick before we go back to John's sit-em, because there's going to be a theme here, I think, with the next 3. All right. I think the Steelers have figured out, because I don't think Caleb Johnson is going to get a helmet. At this point, it's Gainwell or Jalen Warren, and Jalen Warren is by far the better back. He's better in the passing game. I think they are actually going to ride him this week and let him run some. So my start of the week here is
run on the Patriots.
Well, last week he had 48 yards. He had 70 in the passing game. He got a touchdown. Warren is a guy who he's going to get the touches by default.
No, I like Warren. I think I agree with you. I don't know about start of the week against a stout Patriots front, but I like him.
Yeah, the stout Patriots front.
Yeah,
they do have a lot of sacks. I will give him that.
We shut your sit down pretty good. Yeah. Ashton got 30 yards against us.
Yes, I do want to say I've been making the Butterball comments about Ashton Genty, and after watching him on Monday night, I congratulate him for joining Weight Watchers. He better start putting the weight back on, because I kind of said this all during the draft process. That level of football, the fumbles were real. He doesn't look confident. I'm not saying his career's over. He's definitely not a bust yet. But people who were expecting him, and he got taken in the first round of a lot of fantasy drafts, you need to take a close look. He runs hesitant. I just maybe by the second half of the year, but when you're losing time to Samir White, it is time to panic if you took this guy in the first round. If anything, I'd see if you could sucker somebody into him. Because at this point, if you're watching Geno Smith, I watched it closely, it's pass first, pass second, pass third. Oh, it's an obvious running down. Let's see what the rookie can do. And he gets killed behind the line of scrimmage. So,
well, it was a close-up. With them being on Monday night, you could get a good, it was the only game in town, so you're watching, and, the hesitation that you were talking about, I saw a lot. Like, you'd see a hole. Instead of him pounding that hole straight up the middle, he's doing a little dance, cuts to the outside, and I think he even made the statement that, I have to get used to the NFL speed, and it's just not going to work. This isn't Boise State or wherever it was that he was at, playing those cupcake teams in that league where you can just cut it outside and then bust a long one. This is the NFL. If there's a smidge of a hole, you got to hit it hard and go. And I think he had some opportunities to do that last week, and he didn't. And it was obvious watching it.
You know who's great at that? Jalen Warren.
Yeah, his 40 yards, he's busting a lot of holes.
I'm just glad he didn't fumble on that long pass play. I was waiting for like, don't.
David, you were a big Genty fan. Are you surprised he's struggling like this?
In a way, no, because I'm really mad at myself because in my pay league, I drafted him and passed on McCaffrey because it bit me in the ass last year when I drafted McCaffrey. So I trusted the rankings and I went with Genty, and I was like, man, rookie running backs is a gamble. They really are. And here we are. He hasn't really done much. So I'm just disappointed. I was hoping he wouldn't be that way. I was hoping maybe I'd get lucky, but I'm technically not surprised because he's a rookie and you just don't know. These guys, I don't give a fuck if they are a top pick. You just don't know. Look at all these other rookie. Look at our KJ, right? All that talk about KJ, that was a steal in the 3rd round. Look, he's horrible. So
Yeah.
like,
Well,
I just
that's a good segue into my sit of the week too. Is Omari and Hampton that. And what is the theme that we see, Bob? I think you called out. You're going to see a theme here, and the 3 sits that you've seen so far, you have R.J. Harvey, you have Ashton Genty, you have Marion Hampton, and what do they all have in common? They're all rookies, and they were all drafted pretty highly. Hampton ahead of Harvey, and obviously Genty ahead of them all. But it is week 2. So. People should probably have tempered expectations for some of these guys. I know, a couple of my leagues, somebody, was all in on Hampton. Benny, he was shout out to Benny, taking Hampton in all the leagues, and, back to Benny days, he's, struggling to get the wins because, he put a lot of stock in Hampton. So, he fumbled the other night. I know you Steelers guys, I started to see a little Najee creeping in there. And, honestly, what I saw Najee, not that he's blowing doors off of stuff, but he was looking a little bit better than Hampton was looking at that time. So, that, and then you throw non-production on top of fumbling, and that's not a very good combination to increase your touches and playing time. So I think, you'll probably see a little more of Najee as we move forward until Hampton gains back some of Harbaugh's trust.
Well, Najee had his chance. And when he fumbled, and Harbaugh's like a lot of coaches, if somebody puts the ball on the ground, you're going to the bench and you're not going back until the other guy fumbles or the next game. And then Najee went out promptly and averaged 2.5 yards a carry. So Omari and Hampton, I will say this. He did not fumble once in college. Once. He hasn't fumbled since high school. So I don't think he's a fumbling running back, but he has been more hesitant than I thought he would be. He is an absolute monster, though. I think he gets on track behind that offensive line, mostly because I have him in a couple of leagues. I also thought he was going to.
You don't think, you hope.
Back. Well, I also thought he was going to be the best rookie running back in the class. So it's interesting to see what he's going to do behind that line. And I think Najee, any chance he had of taking that job, if he comes out and puts up 30, 40, 50 yards on 7-8 carries, I think it's probably his job for a week or two. But
people talk about Harbaugh wanting to run, but man, it certainly looks like likes to pass right
Running
now.
it out, yeah.
yeah.
I'm telling this is a name in a 10-man league. We don't need to reach for this guy, but I'm telling you, in deep leagues, 12 teams, 14 teams, go get Trey Harris while you can, because I'm telling you, Lad McConkey is great. I think he's the number 1 there, but Trey Harris is coming. Quentin Johnson, he ain't the guy. Okay, I think he'll be the number 3 guy. And Keenan Allen's already there. I wouldn't be surprised if by halfway through the season it's Allen in the slot, McConkey, and Trey Harris out there.
By the way, the game to watch for Marion Hampton is not this week's game against Denver. It's next week's against the Giants. Giants are number 1 in points to running backs. His first 3 matchups are against tough matchups: KC, Las Vegas, against the run, and Denver. So if he doesn't do shit against the Giants in a couple weeks, time to hit the panic button.
Then it's time to panic.
Yeah.
I totally agree. What do you think, Greg?
I don't think there's anything I can say that you guys haven't already said. I mean, yeah, it's a struggle.
Jeff, anything to add?
Yeah, you might as well add Henderson to that list for the Patriots.
Yeah.
Not out of, I think just all of the rookies, and then you go and you look and you go, oh my gosh, we got a guy here in Jacksonville that's just crushing it as a rookie. So running backs are they're tough, man. It's hard because during the preseason, they all pump them up. Like Travion Henderson looked like the next thing since sliced bread. Like he's going to be Christian McCaffrey. And then when regular season comes around, the touches aren't there as much as you thought they would be. And then when they do have the touches, sometimes it's like deer in headlights. So it's kind of like you guys are saying, though, like 5 weeks from now, let's really talk about it because
I wouldn't be dropping these guys right now. Benson probably, but dropping, no. But it's definitely, if I'm an owner of these guys, it's a little bit of a panic mode. Harvey, I put down there a little more. I don't think people were drafting him to be maybe a starter, maybe a third running back you drafted on your team in fantasy. But, but these other guys, it's a good little rookie running back segment to have a discussion about because they're definitely struggling compared to what I think expectations were. But it's 2 weeks in. Let them get used to the speed of the NFL. Let them get a couple cupcake teams under their belts where they can pad some stats and gain some confidence and see what happens.
I will say something since somebody brought up preseason. They got the benefit of not playing against, the ones in preseason, especially in the first part of it. I mean, Henderson had that great first preseason game against third stringers, and he's gotten a pretty stern introduction to the league now that it's the regular season.
Well, shout out to Trent here. Ohio State guys suck.
Hey, you know what? Another one to bring up is Quinton Judkins. He had 61 yards, 10 carries in his first game.
Actually looked pretty good.
Yeah, you got Bill McCroskey, 7th round pick. He's doing pretty decent, for the Redskins. I still call them Redskins. But
the best thing about the Redskins is Eckler getting hurt, so he's going to get a lot more touches now. They're down to nobody else. That's all they got left. So
yeah, it's just funny. I'm on the second page of fantasy points leaders, and on the second page, Judkins is already on it. He's right behind all these guys, all the rookies, Hampton, Tootin, everyone mentioned, really. So Harvey and all that, wow.
And until the Browns get down 2 or 3 touchdowns, they're going to run the ball. I mean,
for the first 6.5 minutes.
As I say, the first quarter ish.
Yeah, they it's going to be interesting this week how long they actually stay in it.
Yeah.
Packers, it could be over by the end of the first quarter. It really could. Yeah. Which, speaking of which, go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say it's just so tough 2 weeks in. Like, Quinn, you and I were talking about this earlier. So Justin Jefferson, Ladd McConkey, Nico Collins, Drake London, Brian Thompson Jr., Terry McLaurin, A.J. Brown, Cortland Sutton. What do they all have in common? They're
not in the top 30.
They're not in the top 30 in fantasy football points for wide receivers, right? So nobody's talking about dropping Justin Jefferson, right? Nobody's talking about freaking dropping Nico Collins. It's just it's a long season, and you just got to try to be patient as much as you can and try to avoid those knee-jerk reactions.
Well, you know what they say, the cream always rises to the top. So
even George Pickens had a good game last week.
He had a great game last week.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I was going to get on here and talk mad shit about McCarthy and how if you have any players associated with him that's not Jettas, don't play them.
I'm happy. I have Jettas in a couple leagues, and I'm like, oh man, I'm so glad McCarthy's out.
Yeah,
now.
Dude,
I'm expecting
not good.
What's his name? Wentz to come in and
Hawkinson's a waste.
Hawkinson's terrible. I got
the run game's horrible. Dude, they know stop the run, force him to throw, you're set. It's bad.
Other than the fourth quarter of the first game, McCarthy's been just
where he went off.
Dude, I got Hawkinson. I've watched Jettas, and I'm like, Jesus. Then the running backs, dude, it's rough. But he's injured now, so I don't know if he'll be better or not.
Well, it's interesting to see. What if Wentz comes in? They go 3-0, and he throws 300 yards. Right. Then what happens? Is it another?
Sam Darnold .2.
Sam Darnold.
I was literally going to come on this show and say sit every fucking Viking there is, except for Jefferson, on the hope that it's enough for him. Like, because that's how bad McCarthy's been.
Yeah.
They're already saying that if he even plays remotely competent, it's his job for the rest of the year.
Wow, I haven't heard that, but
I mean, I get it. They wasted.
They're probably wishing
If they have that much,
they used.
like they couldn't have been that confident about the guy to just let Sam Darnold walk, not even really make an effort to do anything at all.
I mean, he got
Like,
what
what
20
happened?
mil Sam Darnold got, which is in
Yeah.
quarterback dollars isn't a lot of money.
Right.
And
No.
he put up huge numbers in that offense with, they speak highly of, it's Kevin O'Connell, I believe, right? That he's a quarterback whisperer type guy. So maybe it's just Kevin O'Connell ego thinking it doesn't matter who my quarterback is. This guy's young and cheap and I can get him to be great.
I think that's exactly what it was. They thought the system, it didn't matter. As long as you get the right quarterback for the system, you plug them, it's going to be great. Well, guess what?
Back Darnold, then you're going to hear they were going to hear all sorts of talk about JJ being a wasted draft pick. So
dude,
I'd rather have. Yeah, I mean, you're going to swing and miss on quarterbacks. Like if you have a guy that ran your offense that well last year, and like I think Quinn, you said,
what were they like 13-4 or 14-3,
and only have to pay the guy 20-25 mil a year,
right?
Let McCarthy sit. He's going to learn from this guy. In 3 years, when the guy's contract's over, he's going to be ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a very strange decision there.
Yeah, but you can't sit rookie quarterbacks anymore. You got to play them.
Yeah.
Well, Mike Florio, who's a huge Vikings fan, has been all his life. He came on and on an appearance on Pittsburgh radio this week and just said flat out, the Vikings made a huge mistake, and he started, putting it on to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers made a huge mistake by just not waiting until the season started, and he could go to Minnesota. He could go to the Bengals. If he had just been patient and waited. I think it's a little wishful thinking on Florio's part, to be honest with you. But they remember the Vikings GM. No, we're good. We don't need Aaron. That's why he's in Pittsburgh, is because of Minnesota said no.
Yeah, the original rumor was he was waiting for Minnesota.
Yeah,
but whatever.
All right, so we've got a new segment. We got about 30 minutes before the games this week start. John has got a rapid fire segment. He's going to throw some questions out to us. We're going to keep score on this like we do legendary picks, and we'll see whose record comes out good at the end of the season. So, John, take it away. Tell us what you got.
So this is the rapid fire round. I'm going to fire off some questions. We're going to go in order. I'll go Quinn in clockwise, then we'll go backwards, counterclockwise. It's not designed for you to put a lot of thought into this. So, don't sit there and try to analyze and pull up some stats to make your decision on this. It's going to be 10 questions each week, and each will be involving games. For example, Patriots against Steelers this week, there'll be a question for that game. So what I'll try to do is pick some of the more intriguing games, throw out some sort of prop bets. We'll make our picks, and then we'll kind of see how it all shakes out at the end. 10 questions. John was 10 for 10, 10-0. Quinn was, 1-9, and, something like that. And then we'll keep a running total each week of everybody's win percentage, who won the week, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to start off. This first question goes to Quinn. We're going to talk about tonight's game, Buffalo against Miami. Who's going to have more rushing and receiving yards, A-Chain or Cook?
I'm actually Devin A-Chain, and I'll tell you why just real quick. Is I think this game is going to be 35-0 by halftime, and I'm not on any Buffalo people this week for fantasy. I do think they'll score a bunch of points in the first quarter and a half, but I don't love the idea. I think A-Chain, because he catches the ball, good chance he ends up as the leading receiver for Miami. So give me A-Chain here.
Okay, David.
Yeah, look, I'm going with Cook. Reason why is I know Buffalo averages 169 yards per game on the ground, and Miami's is only 139. But Buffalo is number one in yards allowed through the air. They've only allowed an average of 124 yards a game. So I don't think there's going to be – they're going to shut down the passing game pretty well, I think. Miami gives up 236 passing yards a game. So I just think that helps Cook have more total yards.
Greg?
I'm going to say Cook as well. Last week was the James Cook show, and I think he's one of the more, even though he's one of the best in the league, but I think he's one of the most underrated in the league. He doesn't get a lot of love that a lot of the other men do. But no, I'm going to say Cook.
Okay. Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, David said it all. That's what I was thinking as well. I would say Cook just because, and he's probably going to get all, like, he's famous for, he's 2-yard touchdown, 3-yard touchdown, so he's going to get all the touches down there. So looks like Markman, you're picking 2, right?
Yeah. So I'm on the Quinn train here. I'm going A-Chain as well. I think that they might get down. They're going to be passing a lot of dump offs. A-Chain started off good so far. It could be a get right game for Miami at least. I don't know if it's going to be 35-0. I'm looking 35-30. I'm looking for a shootout. Buffalo to regress a little bit. So I'm going A-Chain myself. Okay. Nice. We're going to go backwards. I'll start this time. The Rams versus Eagles game. More yards. Saquon Barkley rushing or Puka Nacua receiving and rushing? So interesting enough, Nacua had a 45-yard rushing touchdown last week. They do like him as the end around. So he is involved a little bit in the rushing game. I think the Rams have a decent enough front that I'm going to go with Puka on this.
Yeah. I would agree with you 100%. I think Puka would be a lock for that, especially if you give him the rushing and the passing, because they're going to try to do a couple of reversals or whatever to get the ball in his hands. So, and you got Adams and you got Puka, and just Puka's going to have a huge year this year anyway. So definitely going Puka.
Greg?
I'm going to say Puka. I think the Eagles will win big, and the Rams will be they'll be throwing it a lot in the second half.
David?
Yeah, I'm going Nacua. The Eagles allow 180 yards passing per game compared to the Rams only allowing 111 rushing yards per game. Also, Nakua's already got more total yards combined by about 50 yards more than Barkley. And Barkley has not had a 100-yard game yet.
This guy is just a wealth of knowledge, folks.
He is.
Wealth of knowledge. He's a walking encyclopedia for stats. Quinn, is it a clean sweep?
Go lone wolf.
I absolutely am going lone wolf on this because Saquon is ready for his breakout game. I think there's been a lot of noise about the tush push this week. I think he will get some goal line carries because of that noise. I think Philadelphia will start to respond to a little bit of that pressure. I also Philadelphia's secondary is legit, and I don't feel like Matthew Stafford. Now, I know he's throwing it to Nacua. He's targeting Nacua. But I think this is the kryptonite. I do not think the Rams offense will look very good this week. They had put up some stinkers the end of last year. Give me Saquon here.
David, what was your wide receiver stat or your for Philadelphia's defense? Your receiving stat?
You mean about how they're allowing 180 yards to the air?
That's the
per
one.
game?
That's the one I was looking at.
Right.
Okay. Question number 3, the Cowboys and Bears game. Does CeeDee Lamb, this question starts with Quinn, does CeeDee Lamb have over 120 receiving yards in this game?
Man, Jalen Johnson is back, but then again, I also think Chicago, being the Bears, will watch the tape, saw that Pickens went off, and I think they're gonna try to play him straight up, at least at the beginning of the game, because Dak has shown the willingness to go to Pickens. So yeah, I'm gonna take the over here with CD.
Okay, and let's go, David.
Yeah, look, I think it's going to be under. I think he's going to have under 120 receiving yards. They're at Chicago. He hasn't done it yet this season. And Pickens is digging into his targets. He's starting to get in a groove, I think, so with Dak. So I don't think he hits 120.
And Ferguson had 9
good point.
this week.
Yep.
Greg?
I'm going to say under. I think, Pickens. I think Pickens will get a lot more going his passes going towards him, and at the expense of CeeDee Lamb.
Okay, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm going to go over. I think just what Jared Goff was able to get done last week against those guys, and it just seems like they're ripe for the pickings. So pickings, but yeah, no, I'm going over.
I agree. I think he gets more than 120 yards. Question number 4 in the Falcons-Panthers game. Does Bijan Robinson have multiple touchdowns in this game? I say yes. Jeff?
I'm going to say no.
Greg?
No.
David?
Yes. Hasn't had a rushing touchdown yet, so he's due. Second, the Carolina allows an average of 141 passing yards per game, so that helps with them and him his passing yards. So he'll probably get a passing TD too. So I think he's going to have one rushing, one pass touchdown.
I agree. Quinn?
Oh, and they're averaging 26 points a game, so they're going to put up points against them.
I'm not a huge fan of Atlanta's offense, but Carolina's defense is maybe not as historically bad as they were last year, but they're definitely the worst defense in the NFL, and that's saying something because they're playing football in Pittsburgh. So I'm gonna say over here.
All right. Back to you, Quinn. In the Jags-Texans game, does Travis Etienne break 100 yards rushing and receiving combined? So more
Now look,
or less?
Look, I'm on the Jaguars this year. I think they're going to be very good, but historically, when Houston comes to Jacksonville, it is a shit show. Jacksonville will figure out a way to get shut out in this game. They'll look terrible. Houston just has Jacksonville's number. I'm going under here.
Dave?
I have him going over. He already has 250 yards total already. So he's already averaging over 100 yards total yards per game already. Second, Houston averages 120 rushing yards per game, and they average 207 yards passing. So I think completely yes. The only thing that worries me is Michelle Tootin because he's starting to ramp up too.
Yep.
But Etienne on the ground in game 1, good Lord, I think he had 130 yards rushing. So there's still that chance to me.
Okay. Greg?
I'm gonna say yes. I think he'll get a lot of targets out of the backfield. So.
Yeah, I'm going to go no. I think and I have been in a couple fantasy leagues. I've been very happy with Etienne, but unless he gets that, like a lot of his runs are 2 and 3 yards, and he'll pop a 40 or 50 yarder. So he's kind of dependent on that, and he really hasn't been much of the passing game this year. So I'm going to go under.
I agree. I think that to David's point, Tootin's going to start getting a little more involved, and unless Etienne breaks a long one, I don't think he breaks the 100-yard mark, even though we're combining rushing and receiving. Question number 6, Cleveland and Packers. Does Myles Garrett record more than 1 sack? I will say yes, he will. I think that Love likes to pass. Myles Garrett's a beast, and I think that he'll get at least 1.5 sacks. Jeff?
I'm going to go no. I think he'll probably get 1, but 1.5, I'm not too confident on. But he could easily do it, but I'm just going to go under anyways.
Greg?
I'm going to say yes. Last week, Green Bay had rookie tackles playing for them. They weren't the cleanest ones. I think depending on where he lines up, yeah, he'll feast.
David?
I'm going to go under. The Packers have like less than 3 sacks so far this season, so they're in the bottom 6 in allowing sacks. They haven't given up many at all, and I think they'll scheme away from him since he's the impact player for Cleveland. So I'm going to go under.
Quinn?
I'm definitely going under. Fuck Myles Garrett. Colin, if you're watching, he sucks. He doesn't suck. I mean, he's having a nice year, but no, I think Green Bay's offense is too good. And honestly, Cleveland could be down so big that they just take him out of the game because they don't want to risk getting.
Or Green Bay just hands the ball off all game and hardly ever drops back.
That's another good possibility.
All right, next question. Broncos-Chargers game. More fantasy points in our league rules. Bo Nix or Justin Herbert?
I don't care what league rules you play by. It's Herbert by a mile here.
Okay.
Unless
David?
you get points for throwing interceptions.
Look, they're both facing good passing defenses, but Knicks did have that clunker against Tennessee, which really worries me. I would rather trust Herbert at home than trust Knicks away. I'll put it that way.
Greg?
Herbert. I'm probably going to be starting him in fantasy since Burrow's hurt. So he needs to be the better man.
Jeff?
I'm going Knicks, so I can be the lone wolf because I don't think John's going to pick Knicks. So this will give me one win and all you guys' losses.
Well, actually, I am picking Knicks because
Ah.
I expect the Chargers to probably get a lead, which means that Knicks will have to do some passing, and I just think that he could end up outscoring him. He's a runner too. He can get some rushing yards. He could get a rushing touchdown. So I think Knicks gets more points. All right, our last Sunday night pick or Sunday game pick. Patriots versus the Steelers. Pretty close to everybody's hearts in this group here. I'm not sure, Greg, who your NFL team is. Are you a Steelers guy too? Huh?
Steelers.
Steelers, okay. So this is a simple question, and I think we probably know the answer, how everybody's going to pick. Who wins the game, Patriots or Steelers? Quinn, start us off.
This game will be uncomfortably close for about a quarter and a half, and then Drake May will make a crucial turnover. And I like Drake May. I'm a Drake May fan, and that'll give the Steelers that 2-score lead, and they'll just hold on to it through the rest of the game. I like the Steelers.
Dude.
No, I'm going Patriots. Look, until we get Keanu Benton off the nose, until Peyton Wilson starts learning how to tackle and hit a lane, until we quit with all the defensive gaffes on defense, until the O-line fucking blocks for Aaron Rodgers, I could go on and on and on and fucking on. Until then, no, I'm not feeling good about the Steelers right now. Number 2, they're 1-5 at New England. Their last win at New England. I saw this stat. I don't know if it's true, but the last win at New England is 2008, the year we won the Super Bowl. I'm not sure if that's true or not. Fact check me.
It is.
That is the last time we've won in New England. They either won, or won. It's never going to fucking happen. And right now, the way they're playing, I'm picking it not to happen. And I hate to say that. I hope they win, but not feeling.
But those other 5, some guy.
There's another
Michigan
guy.
Quarterback was playing quarterback.
Yeah.
Hey, those Michigan guys all suck too. So,
Greg,
I don't feel
are you going to be a homer, Greg?
Yeah, I'll be a homer and go Steelers.
Okay. Jeff?
Yeah, definitely going to be a homer and go Patriots. I mean, it's in Foxborough. Like you said, they don't win up there. Drake May had a nice week last week, and seems like Patriots are getting back on track. Well, all the Pittsburgh fans are panicking. So
I'm sure a fire alarm is going to go off at 2 a.m. in the morning, and all the Steelers are going to have to exit their hotel. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be.
I am also going Patriots. I think we get Christian Gonzalez back this week, which means that will probably shut down your big boy Metcalf there. You could look for your little guy to maybe get some passes.
They don't need any help. Look, just to be clear, though, DK has dropped his requisite number of passes for the entire season through game 2. So
I expect the lollipop thrown up by Aaron Rodgers. Maybe you guys will decide not to even field any of the kickoffs again. So, I think, we're at home. I think that's really the only.
I just like to point out the Steelers have not lost in the 21st century to the Patriots at Foxborough when Tom Brady does not play quarterback.
Well, that's a great stat. I'm sure David had it written down somewhere.
We're 1-0, baby.
All right, let's go to the Sunday night game, Chiefs versus the Giants. And this is an interesting question here. And Quinn, we'll start off with you again. Who has more passing yards, Patrick Mahomes or Russell Wilson?
Well, being that the Giants could be down in this game by as many as 40 points, the temptation would be to take Wilson. But I think I got a sneaking suspicion we may see Jackson Dart in the second half of this game. So give me Mahomes. This is a must-win for the Chiefs, and I think they're going to rub it in.
Okay. David?
Mahomes. The Giants give up the fourth most passing yards. He already is ahead of Russell Wilson by 30 yards passing already. So I think it'll be, and he might get Worthy back. So I think it'll be Mahomes, no problem.
Greg?
Mahomes.
Jeff?
Gotta go Wilson. I'm going to be the lone wolf this time. But
Until he says he's taking
I mean, to say, hey, Dart's going to go in the second half. Wilson just threw. I know he had a terrible interception at the end, but I mean, beyond that, how many yards? It was 450 yards passing. I don't
something
think
like that. Yeah.
I'm going.
they're going to allow him to have a full bad game before Dart comes in. It's not going to.
I'm going Mahomes too, but I do see if Giants get down, Wilson has to pass. I think that he certainly. This one's probably a lot closer than most people would have thought coming into the year, for sure.
I know somebody who got a close-up look at Russell Wilson against the Chiefs defense. Spent a lot of money to go watch it up close. Dave, tell us about the scouting report on Russell Wilson versus the Chiefs.
And on Christmas, too.
Yeah, and on Christmas. What a fucking
Rough.
present that was.
That was the greatest Christmas present I ever gave my son, was us paying $1,000 to go get their ass whooped by the Chiefs. God, bad. They're going to apply pressure. He's going to fold like a lawn chair. He's not going to see anybody. It's going to be really bad. Trust me. I saw it on the 50-yard line with my own eyes. It's going to be bad.
All right. Last question as we get close to kickoff here. The Monday night game, Lions versus Ravens. Who has more yards? Derrick Henry rushing or Jahmyr Gibbs rushing and receiving?
Ooh.
Quinn, start us
this
off.
me? Oh, give me Gibbs all day long. Now, only because you're not counting Henry's, one pass he'll catch.
Right.
Look, Baltimore historically crushes NFC teams at home. They also beat the shit out of Lions 2 years ago. I think the Lions are going to have a little attitude. They're going to feel some kind of way in this game. I think the Ravens probably win the game outright. But I also think this is going to be a high-scoring game. So Gibbs is their best weapon. Give me Gibbs.
David?
I'm going Gibbs. Literally, Henry had 3 yards receiving last game and only 23 yards rushing. I hope I saw that right. I was just like, what?
It's true.
So, yeah, I mean, Detroit, they're allowing 106 yards rushing. Ravens 111, so they're similar in rushing. But the Ravens give up 298 yards receiving per game. So I give it to Gibbs. I think he's going to have a bigger impact in the passing game, and that's why he'll have more than Henry.
Greg?
Gibbs. He's on my fantasy team.
Going chalk. Jeff?
Yeah, no, Gibbs, I think, just because you're adding the rushing and the receiving, I think it's a no-brainer.
I'm going lone wolf here, and I'm going to take Henry. I think they try to get back and establish that run game quickly this week and get Henry on track. I don't anticipate him having 2 bad games in a row, so I'm going Henry.
I like it. No clean sweeps in any one of the questions. These were good questions, John.
Yep.
If you're coming down and you think everybody else is going to pick the other one, you got to go opposite. Just that's how
now. Well, and you may decide that as you go along, and if you're in 5th place,
if you're losing really
well,
bad,
then you really have to do it. Then you have to.
Yeah, who will be a lone wolf then?
So feel free to any questions that you think might be good for this, just throw them in the group chat. We'll do 10 rapid fire questions. It wasn't as rapid fire as I thought it might be, but it was a good little segment. So look forward to it, seeing the results, and then next week's questions.
I was told don't think about it, so I just popped up an answer.
That's how you're supposed to do it, Greg. That's why it's called rapid fire.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, guys, for those of you watching, thanks for watching. We're going to be on every Thursday night before the Thursday night football game. Like, share, subscribe. Tomorrow night we'll be on with Steelers Sanctuary, 7:00. We'll be breaking down the preview of the Patriots game. The Patriots fans who think they're going to win, you can tune in and watch. Support David, who will obviously be the one picking the Patriots tomorrow. And then back to normal on Monday, 7:00. We'll be breaking down the game. Legendary picks tomorrow, as well after the game preview. Guys, we got anything else before we get out of here?
Nope. Good luck this week to everybody except for whoever's playing me. He's not here. It's the Trent guy. So
The Trent guy.
Yes, and hopefully Trent will be back with us next week. Maybe we can get Dave, if he wins, to make an appearance. That would be awesome.
Oh, he will. If he wins, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta send all those questions and have them answer them so they can stay in it if they want to do the year-long.
Luckily, they may be. Dave just picked Cook, by the way. I think he's thinking about the rest.
Well, hey, tell him he's got to have it done in 10 minutes. We didn't get time to analyze
Tell him
them.
better late than
well,
never.
we can also talk about percentages too. You know, if someone's here next week.
Trent's firing stuff at us in the other chat too. Jesus Christ! All right.
I know. Did Trent pick Cook too? You guys see this? We may have breaking news.
Breaking news.
Are we breaking it on Unfocused Fantasy Podcast? What's the breaking news?
Breaking news. Relic's fit is over. He's joining the chat back. He just needs to be added. So.
Oh, he lost his new.
I thought this was real breaking.
You got me looking up something like, what happened?
Yeah, I thought something crazy happened.
What happened to Aaron? Or did Tomlin get fired? Or
all right, enjoy the game tonight.
We can only hope. Oh, and Trent picked. Yep, Trent picked Cook too. By the way.
All right. Well, Quinn, if they want to make all picks, you have them. Just let them know. Let me know, and I'll put them in the. I'll put them into the sheet. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I started pre-filling the sheet, and Bob had to tell me to stop.
I was like, "Hey, wait for the show." All right, so we'll see you guys tomorrow night on Steelers Sanctuary. Everybody, thanks for watching. Have a great night.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.